I stood frozen, staring at the sonogram photo she'd just sent to my phone. It looked real, too real, but something felt off. I could feel it deep in my chest, that tightening sensation that screams, something's not right, and I was right. She faked the whole thing just to trap me. But if she thought I'd stay quiet, she had no idea who she was messing with. If you've ever been lied to, manipulated, or made to feel like your life isn't your own, this story will speak to something deep inside you. Because this isn't just about heartbreak, it's about justice. And when the truth finally came out, no one saw it coming. My name is Aaron, and I'm 31 years old. I work in logistics, nothing glamorous, but it pays well and gives me the kind of structure I've always craved. Structure is what I've needed since my early 20s, when everything felt like it could fall apart at any moment. That might be why I held on to Claire longer than I should have. Claire was beautiful in a way that turned heads in public, but it wasn't just about looks. She had this warm, intoxicating charisma that made you feel like you were the only person in the room. She knew how to make people feel seen, especially me. We met at a friend's birthday party. Not one I even wanted to go to, but the moment she introduced herself, she latched onto me with laser focus. And for a while I felt lucky. Out of everyone she could have chosen, she chose me. First, things moved fast. Weekend trips, long nights staying up talking, passionate arguments followed by even more passionate makeups. Felt like love in its rawest form. Or at least that's what I thought. The truth is, Claire didn't love me. Claire loved control. I started noticing it in small ways, little emotional tests. She'd get upset when I didn't respond to texts within minutes. She'd cry if I made plans without her. She'd accuse me of flirting if I so much as laughed at a female coworker's joke. At first, I chalked it up to insecurity. I tried to be patient, supportive. I told myself love meant being understanding. But then she started threatening to leave. Not in a dramatic way, but calculated. Like, maybe I'm just too much for you, or maybe you're looking for someone easier. And every time I begged her not to go, I'd jump through whatever emotional hoops she set. I didn't see it then, but she was training me like a dog. Fast forward 1.5 years into the relationship, and I was exhausted, emotionally drained, isolated from my friends, my confidence shattered. And just when I was finally working up the nerve to end things, she sent me a text that changed everything. "We need to talk. I'm pregnant." My heart dropped. I stared at the message, rereading it 3 times. I didn't know how to respond. I felt cold and nauseous all at once. She followed up seconds later with a photo. A grainy image that looked exactly like a first trimester sonogram. It had her name in the corner, the date, everything. That night I didn't sleep. All I could think about was how trapped I felt. All of a sudden, every door out of the relationship slammed shut. I couldn't leave. Not now. Not when there was a child involved. Whether I loved her or not didn't matter anymore. The next few weeks were a blur of anxiety. I kept telling myself I'd make it work. I'd do the right thing. Be a father. Show up. But every time I asked questions about the baby, about doctor's appointments, symptoms, tests, she got defensive. Dismissive. Controlling. "You don't trust me?" she'd say, her eyes watering on command. "Why are you treating me like I'm lying?" And every time I'd apologize. Until one day, something happened that shattered the illusion completely. I was dropping her off at her place when she left her purse in my car. It wasn't intentional. She was rushing, distracted. I noticed it after she'd gone inside and thought I'd just hand it back the next day. But when I picked it up, something fell out. It was a folded piece of paper. A receipt. From a novelty ultrasound photo studio. One of those fake sonogram printing places for pranks and social media posts. Dated just days before she sent me that picture. My hands started shaking. My face felt hot. For a second, I forgot how to breathe. I read it again and again, willing it to say something else. Something that would prove I was wrong. But I wasn't. That's when something inside me snapped. I wasn't sad anymore. I wasn't afraid. I wasn't confused. I was furious. And for the first time in a long time, I wasn't going to be the victim. I remember sitting in the driver's seat of my car that night, gripping the fake ultrasound receipt so tightly in my hand that it started to crumple. There was a part of me that wanted to storm up to Claire's apartment and confront her on the spot. To shout, to scream, to demand answers. But a colder, quieter voice inside me said something else entirely. No, not yet. That voice, the one I hadn't heard in months, wasn't the version of me that begged for affection or made excuses for manipulation. It was the version of me that had been silenced for far too long, the one who remembered what self-respect tasted like. I went home. I didn't answer her texts that night. I didn't call. I lay awake until 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, running through every lie she had ever told me, every tear she had faked, every carefully calculated move she made to trap me. And by the time the sun started to rise, I knew one thing with perfect clarity. She wasn't going to get away with this. But this wasn't going to be loud. This wasn't going to be messy. If I confronted her, she'd twist it. She'd cry. She'd scream. Maybe she'd accuse me of abuse. She'd done it before with an ex. She knew how to weaponize words. I needed proof. I needed a plan. And I needed to dismantle her web of lies so completely that even she couldn't spin her way out of it. I started with research. A lot of it. I read everything I could about fake pregnancies, psychological manipulation, the legal consequences, both for her and for me if I handled it wrong. I found Reddit threads, forums, even news articles of men who had been falsely told they were going to be fathers. Some of them paid child support for years before discovering the truth. That wasn't going to be me. I combed through our messages, every conversation we had about the pregnancy. I saved screenshots. I backed everything up. I even made a secure folder, in the cloud and on a drive, labeled emergency. Then I started playing along. When she asked me to come to her next doctor's appointment, I said I couldn't get off work, but to please send me another photo. She did. This one even had a new date and a fake measurement. But when I ran it through reverse image search, I found the exact same photo on a Pinterest board titled, Baby Announcement Pranks. Checkmate. I still didn't confront her. Not yet. The lie was still alive, and that gave me power. I started digging deeper into her past, calling up old friends she had cut me off from. One of them, Megan, was hesitant at first. But once I explained everything and showed her the fake sonograms, she opened up. "You're not the first guy she's done this to," she said. My stomach dropped. Megan told me Claire had done this once before, years ago, to a guy named Jordan. The same tactics, the same threats, even the same fake pregnancy story. But Jordan left the state, and Claire spun the story that he abandoned her and their unborn child. It was all unraveling. I made a list. I wanted her lies to collapse in a way she couldn't control. I wanted everyone she manipulated, not just me, to see who she really was. So I started contacting people quietly. Her friends, her family, co-workers. I didn't blast anything. No drama. Just one-on-one conversations, DMs, coffee chats. "Hey, I just wanted to let you know Claire told me she's pregnant. But I found out she used a fake ultrasound app." Some were shocked. Some didn't believe me at first. But when I showed them proof, real proof, they changed their tune quickly. And here's where the universe threw me a bone. Claire was planning a gender reveal. She hadn't told me yet, but I found out through one of her mutual friends she didn't know I had reconnected with. She was going to do it at her parents' house. Big event. Decorations. Guests. The whole performance. I didn't just want to ruin the lie. I wanted to make sure it never happened again. So I said nothing. I let her plan it. I even smiled when she mentioned it, wide-eyed and fake as hell, and told her I'd be there early to help. But I wouldn't be bringing balloons. I'd be bringing receipts. The night before the party, I barely slept. I wasn't anxious, I was focused. I printed out everything. Her fake sonogram receipts. The online listings for the exact images she used. The screenshots of her texts, the reverse image matches. I even recorded a phone call with Megan explaining the history. I made folders. Neat. Professional. Labeled with dates and tabs like a man presenting to a boardroom. And one more thing, I uploaded a backup to a private Google Drive folder. Then sent a scheduled email to myself and her parents. Just in case she did something stupid. The day of the party, Claire was glowing. Wearing pink and blue. hugging people, laughing like nothing was wrong. Her parents beamed with pride. There were cupcakes, balloons. Her dad had even rented a projector to reveal the gender with a slideshow. That's when I stood up and said, "I need everyone's attention." The music paused. Her father looked at me, confused. Claire's smile froze. "Before we continue with the celebration," I said slowly, "there's something I need to share." My hands didn't shake. My voice didn't crack. I had lived in fear long enough. I handed out the folders, one by one, to her parents, to her closest friends, to the aunt she always lied to about our relationship. Silence fell over the backyard. Claire's voice finally broke through it, high-pitched and shaking. "Aaron, what the hell are you doing?" I turned to her, calm, direct. "I'm setting the record straight." Claire's face went pale, the kind of pale where the color just drains from someone's body as if they've been hit with a ghost. I watched the expression shift on her face in real time, from smug control to disbelief, and then to panic. Her hands trembled as she looked around, searching the crowd for some kind of anchor, some kind of ally. But all she saw were shocked faces holding open folders full of undeniable truth. Her mother was the first to speak. "Claire," she said, her voice shaking. "What is this?" Claire stammered. "It's fake. He faked all of this. He's trying to make me look bad. He's manipulating everyone." But her father was already flipping through the pages. He wasn't even looking at her anymore. He was scanning the evidence. The time-stamped text messages. The receipt from the ultrasound prank site. The reverse image results. The contact list. The printed-out online listing showing the exact same fake sonogram image she had sent me. Dated 2 years ago. "Is this a joke?" one of her friends asked quietly. "No," I said, stepping forward, my voice calm but loud enough to be heard by all. "This is what Claire does when she feels someone slipping away. She lies. She manipulates. And this time, she crossed a line that most people would never even think to touch." I turned back to her. "You faked an entire pregnancy to control me, to trap me. You tried to force a man to stay with you using a lie that could have ruined my life. That's not just immoral, that's psychotic." Her lower lip quivered. "Aaron, please, not here. Don't do this here." But she had already done it. This wasn't me exposing her. This was her unraveling. One of her cousins stood up, folded the folder, and just walked away. Didn't say a word. Just shook her head and left. Another friend followed. And then another. Her father looked like he had been punched. Her mother kept asking her, over and over, "Claire, why? Why would you do this?" She started to cry. The performative kind, at first trying to fish for sympathy, for an emotional rescue. "I thought I was losing him," she shouted through tears. "He was pulling away. I was scared. I thought he'd leave." "So you created a baby?" her mother snapped, for the first time with real anger. "You thought faking a child would fix things?" Claire's sobs turned frantic, messy, desperate. I could have walked away right then and felt satisfied. But there was one final nail I needed to drive in. Not for spite, for closure. "This isn't the first time she's done this," I said. My eyes locked on her father's. "Ask her about Jordan. Or do what I did, talk to Megan. She knows." Claire's knees buckled. Her lies weren't just exposed, they were destroyed. I didn't stay for the rest of the party. What party? The music never came back on. The balloons popped on their own in the silence. I walked out the front gate, folder in hand, heart pounding. But this time, not with fear, with freedom. That night, I received more messages than I could count. Apologies from friends of hers who didn't know the truth. Screenshots from others who were blocking her. A few even admitted they had suspected something was off, but hadn't wanted to say anything. Her parents sent me an email, formal, almost cold. They thanked me for the documentation. They said they were going to seek professional intervention for Claire. I didn't reply. And Claire? She messaged me too. Dozens of times. Begging. Screaming. Accusing. Apologizing. All of it came in waves. I didn't respond to a single one. Eventually, I blocked her. I never heard from her again. There's a strange kind of peace that comes when you see someone for exactly who they are, when the mask finally slips and the truth is too ugly to ignore. For months, I blamed myself for not seeing the signs earlier, for staying, for giving her the benefit of the doubt. But now I know, people like her are master illusionists. And sometimes the most dangerous place you can be is inside a lie someone built to keep you trapped. That's why I don't regret exposing her. Not just for me, for everyone else she could have hurt. Some people weaponize love. They use it like a leash tied to lies and manipulation. But when you cut the rope, when you expose them for who they are, you take that power back. And trust me, there's no revenge sweeter than telling the truth with proof. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button and tell me in the comments. What's the most manipulative thing someone ever did to you? And how did you handle it? Don't forget to subscribe for more twisted, true-style revenge stories. Because this is just the beginning.